We're here. We made it through another Monday, so we get the second week, huh? All right, let's see if we get some screen time and some audio, and hopefully this works. Let's see. I don't see me yet, so I'm assuming you guys don't. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Come on, YouTube. There we go. Jacob says 5x5. My screen looks good. Lucky Dame, Finley, Johnny Finance, 5x5's Harbor Prepper, Amish Hard Aqua Drops. Okay, cool. You guys can see me and hear me. Happy Tuesday, guys. I hope some of you all are getting ready for more rain. I guess some of you guys up north potentially getting some snow. So here we go. But been a weird winter, hasn't it? It's okay, in the 50s and raining today. Got some work done on the bridge yesterday. Yes, I am videotaping it for you guys, but it's like, it's going to be one of these projects that's going to take a month because it's like, oh, it's dry. I can go out and do it. Now it rained. I got to wait 3 days till everything dries out again. So otherwise, I'm just tromping through the mud. So, but yes, getting that done. The cabbage and the lettuce is now about 2 inches high outside in the garage. So that's still running along. I got out and watered them yesterday, so they're still looking good. Got my sweet potatoes started, so that's a good thing. So doing that. So yeah, so that's the major excitement for January around here. It's like, I don't know about you guys. I hate this time of year. January, February suck. I don't care where I live, where it's warm, where it's cold, where it's everything. It's like, I'm ready for spring. I'm ready to get outside, do stuff, enjoy some sunshine, not cloudy, cold, windy, wet days. It's going to be wet, be warm. That'll be fine. So that's that. So if you guys saw the little comment, if you will, that I put underneath the description of the video, $5 million down and $97,000 a month for 250 years. Anybody know what that is? No, that's not trying to buy Leonardo DiCaprio's yacht or something like that. That is actually what that committee in San Francisco came up with today, that they want to give reparations for slavery to every black person in San Francisco, or if you identify as black for the past 10 years. So Rachel Dolezal would qualify, I guess. $5 million in upfront cash payment and $97,000 a month for 250 years. Okay? Think about what that would be. Let's say there's 1,000 people. We know there's probably tens of thousands of people in San Francisco. Okay? Multiply 1,000 out times 5 million. That's $50 billion. Sure, San Francisco, they've got all this money, right? I just saw this today. I'm like, and this was the recommendation by some appointed committee. It's like, oh my God, guys, get over it. It's 160 years ago. I mean, what's next? We're going to give reparations to everybody who had family on the Trail of Tears, or lost people in the Holocaust, or pick something. I mean, I swear those 13 people or whatever on this committee must have been part of the World Economic Forum, because let's come up with the stupidest idea possible and let's see if we can get everybody else to pay for it. I mean, come on, this isn't as expensive as the climate change debacle, but yeah. So speaking of all of that, did you guys catch in fact, Greta Thunberg got arrested in Germany. That was kind of funny, for protesting a coal mine. John Kerry, of course, called everybody at the World Economic Forum in his speech, they had extraterrestrial ambition. Dumbass. Okay. Klaus Schwab supposedly is not there because he's having medical issues. Hopefully it's like a massive heart attack and the son of a bitch dies, but we'll see what happens there. But yes, so all the people who are trying to destroy the world are making fools of themselves as is. So that would be it. So, all right. As you can tell today, it was pretty slow, not a whole lot going on, hence there was no noon video. Looked around, you could see even from the other channels that I follow regularly, there wasn't much content that was put out today, which is fine. And the reason being, if there's nothing to talk about it, I'm not, at least me, I'm not interested in wasting your time. I'm not going to make a video just for the sake of making a video. All right. So there was nothing to talk about. Go do something. That's what I was doing, is go do something. So that was it. So, all right. So let's get off on an early start today. Let's get Q&A in here. I'll go through the rules for all those of you guys who are new. Welcome. We probably picked up 50, 60 people to the channel here in the last few days. So in case you guys are new here, welcome. How we do things on Tuesdays and Saturdays, it's all Q&A from you guys. We talk about what you guys want to hear about, as opposed to listening to me ramble for an hour. You get enough of that in 10-minute sections during the week. So with you guys having questions, want to talk about those. A lot of times those questions wind up turning into a video because it takes a lot more answer than I can give in a minute or two here. So, if you guys have good questions or suggestions for videos, things that you want to know about, please email me or ask or whatever it is. Depending on what it is. If, my opinion on us getting invaded by extraterrestrials, I'm not doing a video on that. Okay. My opinion, it ain't happening. Okay, not in my lifetime at least, but not the conspiracy theory craziness, the stuff that we can actually do something about. Those I'll talk about. But if you got questions for me, please put it in all caps, like every other YouTube channel. That shouldn't be anything normal. I do have slow mode on here, 90 seconds. There's a reason for it, guys. I know some people don't like it, but there's 5 moderators and me watching this, and right now there's a little over 1,000 of you guys in here. And if I don't have that on, this thing looks like a slot machine going through. And the one thing that I am adamant about is keeping a riffraff out of here. We do not put up with any being rude, being obnoxious, insulting each other, whatever would be. Okay, we're all here to try to help each other, and I don't need some moron in here causing trouble. So that way the moderators who bust their ass every Tuesday and Saturday to keep this a clean place, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart. That way they can see it, and it also makes it a little easier for me to find the questions that I can go through. So please keep it civil. PG-13 is acceptable around here, like I've said many times. Oh, look at this stink bug right on top of the camera. Swat, swat, swat. There we go. So yeah, just like I've said many times here, you're 13 will have heard the language that slips out of my mouth every once in a while. Your 6-year-old, probably not. So, all right, so let's get into it. I will get to the top, guys. I try to get to as many questions as I can. I don't ignore anybody's questions unless it's, what do you think about aliens or something that's completely out of here. Please do me and yourself a favor. Somehow reference the context and what your question is. I mean, if you're asking me, when should I start my cucumbers? Okay, I get what that is, but a lot of times questions will come in and I don't understand what the context is, and we bounce from subject to subject so many times, and I don't see a question you're typing right now until 10 minutes from now. I don't know what the context is. So please try to reference the context, regarding war in Ukraine. What do you think about this or something? However it would be. If you think it's a little vague, put a reference in there. All right, so let's get into this. All right, Silicon Valley, California. Hi, Pin. My condolences, first off. I don't know how you live there. I mean, just cost of living, besides everything else. Do you recommend junk 90% silver as something to acquire in addition to silver rounds? Absolutely, 100% yes. Okay. It's getting harder and harder and harder to find because so many people are coming to the realization that, hey, this is worth more than a quarter. And the fact that the Fed, as they see it, they're retiring those coins and replacing them with slugs. But if you can find them, yes. If you can buy them, yes. Just remember, when you're buying junk silver, okay, $1.40 in face value of junk silver, so say 4 quarters and 4 dimes, that's the equivalent of 1 ounce of silver. So at today's price, right around 24 bucks. $1.40 worth of quarters, dimes, nickels are not in silver, guys. It's dimes, quarters, half dollars, and dollars. That's it. Should cost you 24 bucks plus whatever premium they want. Somebody tells you they want $35 an hour, tell them to go pound sand. You shouldn't be paying more than, I'd say at what I'm seeing right now, maybe $3 to $4 premium per ounce. Okay. And I mean, that's if you're buying smaller quantities. I saw a sale at SD Bullion today where I think they were doing $1.79 over spot on Buffalo rounds, but you had to buy over 100 of them or something like that. Okay. Sorry, I'm not dropping buying 100 rounds of silver at one time at any given time. But yes, absolutely. Reason I say buy junk silver is that's going to be your coinage, okay, if you will. In an SHTF situation, you're going to be using, chances are, in my opinion at least, silver as the currency, okay? So if something costs, I'm just going to make something up, let's say 30 bucks, you've got an ounce of silver, there's 24 at today's rates. And again, I'm just hypothesizing based on today's prices. And now I need to come up with another $6. Well, are you going to cut a coin in quarters and say, okay, here's a whole coin and here's a quarter of a coin? Probably not. So here's a whole silver round and a quarter of an ounce. So what would that be? 35 cents. A quarter and a dime would be, at today's prices, the dollar, the rate, what you would pay 30 bucks for. Okay. That's what I think it'll be, your currency. Okay. And kind of like a lot of the books we all read describe it, I think that's a very accurate portrayal of how coins will be used. Rush Chips is good evening from East Texas. I wonder how far east. I lived in Commerce for a very short time back when it was East Texas State. I was going to go there. I was there for a couple of months and I was like, I don't like it here. And I left and I decided to go to UNT instead. But I think, what is it? It's now a satellite of Texas A&M or something up there, if I'm not mistaken. There's a whole bunch of 5x5, so I'm still behind here. Okay, so now we're going to get into this. Boy, my eyes are getting bad. Malaysia Mom, where do I see the debt ceiling going? Forgive me if you did a video about it already. I've been busy. I did do a video on this the other day. I'm probably going to do an updated video either tomorrow or Thursday, depending on what's going on, because there has not been any news on it. But as of midnight Thursday, we're broke. Okay, we'll hit the debt ceiling. So then the only way Janet Yellen's going to be paying the bills is by creative accounting, something that the IRS frowns on, but the government will do anyway. So, but I'll get into that. I did a video, I think it was, maybe last Thursday, on the debt ceiling. And so, of course, we run out of money on this Thursday. So go back and watch that one. There's a lot of detail in that one about exactly what's going on. Okay. Pighead Water Buffalo made it back. I said somebody says hello. And I know I saw earlier you guys were all wondering where you were. So, okay. Hopefully it was vacation and not a hospital. Sue, yes, with plants, boo with weather. Yep. Okay, there we go. I agree. Just Arizona, 54 degrees in Arizona. That's still cold for Arizona. That's the daytime temperatures. I mean, I remember being stationed down in Fort Huachuca, down there out by Sierra Vista, and I was there, was it like October through January or something like that? That was interrogation school. And it was nice during the day. It was freaking cold at night. I think I told you guys the stories about all of us hopping in the back of a pickup truck on the weekends and going down to Nogales, which was like an hour and a half ride away. We were under our blankets and God knows what, so we could all go down and party in Mexico. I was like 22. Keystone Prepper, what's with the double paddle icon? That's the same start screen I've used for 2.5 years. So nothing. The single paddle is the one that's next to my name and everything, and the double paddle has been the one that's been on the opening screen since the beginning. So that hasn't changed. I don't think nothing was different, right? No, it's the same one as always, right? Yeah, it's the same one as always. So except when I had Santa Claus. Okay. Rolling on down. Not too square to prepare, or not square to prepare. Do I keep a gardening journal? Not in the way that everybody thinks where I'm writing everything down. I keep everything in spreadsheets. Okay, just because that's me. All right. When I plant stuff, when I fertilize stuff, what problems I've had at what time. Okay, it was June 10th, and I noticed aphids on my tomatoes or something like that. Okay, what I did, so then I know the next year, it's like, oh, okay, we're coming up around June 10th, it's June 5th, let me treat for aphids before they get here or something like that. Yes, that I do, but I don't keep it in a little notebook. And I know everybody would say, well, gee, what happens when the internet goes out? I'm not keeping this in the cloud. I'm keeping it on a file on my computer, and I can easily plug my computer into a generator and run my computer. And I've also got everything backed up on thumb drives. So I do that once a year. But yes, I do keep a journal, but not in the traditional writing stuff down on a calendar. And then I think you guys know I use the Farmer's Almanac Garden Planner as my planning guide, when to plant in seeds, outdoors, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, map everything. I still do it a little more technologically than on paper, okay, just because it's easier for me to organize and search. Paladin 1, looks like I'm moving to California. Why? Did you have an epiphany and go, I feel like being a Democrat. I want to pay $12 billion. Whatever it would be, unless you are black. Then, hey, but you have to have, I think there was some sort of residency requirement. And they put some crazy stuff in there to keep some, like the identify, you have to have identified as black for 10 years. I got a kick out of that one. It's like, okay, yeah, because, I look like I'm African-American, right? Blonde hair, blue eyes, light skin. That'll go over. But I identify as black. Nostradamus identifies as pissed off most days. There you go. Knit for fun. What the hell are they thinking? I'm guessing you're talking about the same subject. They aren't. Okay. Remember, you can just print money. That's the Democrat thinking, Hey, we'll just come up with $5 million. Great. You know what? That pair of Nikes that you're going to go out and buy is now $50,000. And no, not the original Air Jordans or something like that. The ones that you can go get at Kmart right now or whatever. Okay. Leasim Figueroa, I think. Is someone hoping for votes with this suggestion? I don't think any of them are politicians. So I think it's probably to push for votes, but not directly for them, indirectly helping Gavin Newsom. Jay Myers, anyone living now were never slaves, like this country has had all this money to stand up. Exactly. You have to be 160 years old now. Was it 1865? So yeah, 158. Okay. Congratulations. I think the oldest person in the world right now is like 117 or something. So yeah, the oldest person there's nobody left that was even born in the 1800s anymore, let alone was a slave. So Demery Hoover, my garlic are up in lower eastern Tennessee. Is this normal? Yep. Mine are probably 2 to 3 inches high. I didn't cover them through the freeze we got, anything like that. They got burned a little bit on the end. The tips will brown up or anything like that. They're fine. No problem. Their garlic is very hardy. If it went through 3 days of sub-zero temperatures, yeah. But Mine usually come up before Christmas. I mean, you're in Tennessee, you know what we get 60-degree temperatures in December, and I plant somewhere between October and Thanksgiving. This year I was the weekend after Thanksgiving, but yeah, that's totally normal. You're totally fine. You'll still be harvesting in July. Farm Ranch Homestead. How about reparations for those Americans oppressed by their government in the current era? Well, that would be stimulus checks. God. Yeah. Let's see what happens. I read a story today that there's obviously an op-ed, but somebody was saying that by 2024, Biden's going to come up with, as his attempt to win re-election, right, is he's going to come up with another stimulus package because so many people are going to have lost their jobs and the economy is going to be in the tank so bad. He's going to come up with another stimulus package and tell America, you need to re-elect me because I'm the only one that's going to get you all this free money again. I can see it happening, okay? Because the Democrats have no platform. If they can't buy your vote or cheat for your vote, they don't win. So if we buy half and cheat for half, we got it. Yeah, Dale from Ohio. I want reparations from all that voted Democrat. I agree with you. I mean, somebody please go through history. Tell me just one positive thing the Democrat Party has ever done. You can't. They voted against civil rights. They voted against women's rights to vote. I mean, they were pro-KKK. I mean, got us into World War I, you know, got us into World War II, got us into Vietnam. It's like, gee, you know, if we can't kill them and make money for it, what good is it? You know, the Democrat, I mean, and y'all know this, is the me party, just like all the sheep that, you know, gimme, vote Democrat. The politicians, screw everybody else. What can I get for me? Look at good old Joe, all right? Screw the entire country of America. I want 10% for the big guy. You know, I'm going to get rich off of them. Oh, let's give more money to Ukraine. Why? So we can launder it through and I can stick it back in my pocket. I can take the tax money from the people and give it to me. You know, the corruption. You know, you go through. I mean, I've said this before. You know, in my lifetime, those who have been presidents, okay, the Democrats. Let's look at the quality Democrats that have been president in my lifetime. Lyndon Johnson, Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden. I mean, we go from bad to worse to oh my God, what the hell are we doing? I mean, not that the Republicans are any great shining stars with the exception of Reagan and Trump, okay? But there hasn't been, and I've said this many times, there hasn't been a decent Democrat as president since Harry Truman. And I know a lot of you guys will say Kennedy, but I'm sorry, I don't believe in philandering. So, you know, cheat on your wife doesn't fly with me. Mark Brimmer, is a homemade liquid fertilizer any better than a homemade dry fertilizer for my garden? Let me see if I can read that again. Is a homemade liquid fertilizer any better than a homemade dry fertilizer from? Okay, so what you're talking about here are two completely different things. I mean, yes, you're still talking nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus, no question. Okay. Liquid fertilizer is going to be a instant gratification fertilizer, something that the plant's going to be able to take up right away. A homemade any dry fertilizer, whether you buy Miracle Grow or, you know, the pellets of whatever, Scott's 10-10-10 or whatever, that's a slow release fertilizer. You really need to use them in combination. You need both. When you're planting, you want to put in your dry fertilizer. Okay, even the stuff that I make at home, I told you guys that I'm baking up more of today. That's a slow release fertilizer, and usually those will break down somewhere from 4 to 6 months. Okay, they'll give you a little bit, you know, when you just plant your plants, you know, you're going to water in your seedlings or whatever, and maybe it'll release 10% of the nitrogen from the coffee grounds or the the phosphorus from the powdered up bones or whatever it would be. Okay, banana peels, potassium, et cetera, calcium from eggshells. There's my 4. And over time, that stuff is going to continue to release and constantly feed your plants. The liquid fertilizer, okay, and again, this is it, whether you're using, Miracle Grow spray on it, or you're peeing in a cup and mixing it with water and using that, or using compost tea or whatever. That's instant, okay? That's get it in the soil and the plants can suck that up right away. That's the difference. So you want to use them both. You put in the dry fertilizer when you plant, and then you put in the liquid fertilizer throughout the growing season. So one isn't better than the other. They just both need to be used in conjunction. All right, and we're going to shoot to the bottom, which means I need to go back to the top, and we'll see what you got. Jay Myers, have I heard of New York State approving human composting? Yeah, it was about 2 weeks ago. I talked about it either in a video or in a live stream, one of the two. Just briefly go over it. Yeah. It's cheaper. Grandma can help grow your vegetables even after she's gone. Sorry, stick me in a box and put me in the ground. Okay. I'm, at least personally for me, I'm not going to treat a loved one, if I was responsible for burying them, that poorly to go, yeah, Grandma, I'm just going to put you out in my garden and use you as fertilizer. No, I'm going to respect my elders and respect the dead. Okay. Escape Artist, how do you prepare chicken bones for grinding, and what do you use to grind them for fertilizer? Okay. I'll kind of walk through all of them, but chicken bones are the most labor intensive. And I don't care if you just went and got a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken, you baked your chicken, whatever it would be. However, take everything off the chicken bones, eat your chicken bones, throw them all in a pot of boiling water for 45 minutes to an hour. You're going to rinse them off in the sink, get all the cartilage, any meat, which should have pretty much all boiled down, to the point where you just have a bone. That is it. To get all the crap off. Don't try to get all those teeny tiny little bones. You want leg bones, thigh bones, the parts of the wing that you can get, anything that looks like a little bone. You're going to stick them all in the oven, put them on a cookie sheet, at least that's the way I do it, and you're going to bake them at 250 for an hour or so, okay? To the point, you've baked them long enough where you can take out a bone off that cookie sheet and go snap, and that's it. Then they are totally dry, and that's the key. You want them totally dry. The rest of the stuff, eggshells, if you do that, rinse them out, rinse them out first. Banana peels, no big deal, just throw those on the cookie sheet. Coffee grounds, no big deal, just throw those on the cookie sheet. Throw it all in the oven, dry it all out. Once it's all dried out, I just put it in a blender, okay? Put it on the high speed, the chop, whatever the furthest right one is on a blender, and just spin it until I get it fine, not extra fine, not trying to make flour out of it or something like that, but to the point where it's pretty much teeny tiny little pieces, almost a powder, and you're done. Okay. And the reason for keeping up dry is because you're not going to grind up chicken bones with any moisture in it. You're not going to grind up any banana peels with any moisture in it. And then the other thing is you want to put them in a jar, because I do this all winter and they just sit in a shelf. I just want to put them in a jar. If they are totally dry, they stay that way. If you've got moisture in there, they'll mold, okay? Not that that's terrible, because the mold would be fine in your garden too, but I don't want to be playing around with moldy stuff in the spring, okay? Because now you're introducing something that you're going to literally have your plants grow right into it, and you've got disease or whatever it is. Just make sure you get them dry. But bake them in the oven until they're dry, throw them in a blender, and grind the crap out of them. War Fox, I've heard they're training Ukrainians in Oklahoma. Is that true? I have not heard anything about that. I know they are training Oklahoma's Ukrainians in Germany, but I don't think they're flying them all the way to the States so they can fly them all the way back. That I have not heard. Keenan Finkelstein, have any plans on pursuing aquaponics further? Any general thoughts on aquaponics? No, I'm not going anywhere with it. I don't have anything against it, and I mean, I know there's plenty of ways that you can set it up with your own uh, PVC pipe, and there's plenty of people that have done it. Things. Does it work? Yes. Okay. Do I need to do it for my situation here? No, because I've got enough land. Okay. If you're in an apartment or something like that, yeah, that could be a really good idea. You can take a closet and turn it into an aquaponics system or whatever. But for me, no, because I don't have I don't have the right kind of space for it, and I've got plenty of land that I can grow on. So, again, as I've said many times, there is no one size fits all to prepping. Just aquaponics works. Don't get me wrong. It just does not apply to the situation I have, because I have other ways to do it that are more cost effective. Hector Prepper, can a president be arrested? Sure. Yeah. I mean, if they commit crimes and everything like that. Department of Justice usually doesn't like to go after a sitting president. They pretty much wait, but Congress can. Okay. So. Where are we? Brandon, is there a way to kickstart my compost to turn it into usable compost? Well, you can't speed up nature. I mean, all these things that I know there's some guy in the video, oh, if you mix ammonia and Coke and beer and everything like that, it'll speed up your compost. No, it won't. Okay. That's not what does it. Having the right ratio of greens to browns, okay, which is by volume here, okay, because, is about 3-to-1 browns to greens, all right, by volume, not by weight. I mean, obviously, grass clippings are heavier than dead leaves or shredded newspaper. Keeping it moist and turning it. That's the only way you're going to do it. It's the problem that I see, and I'm also guilty of, especially this time of year, is not turning the piles. So now it just sits there and does nothing. If you get out and turn it about every 5 days, you will see compost in 3 to 4 months. Easiest way to make it happen faster, shred everything. Grass clippings are going to turn into compost a lot faster than corn stalks, because grass clippings are smaller, more surface area for the bacteria and the fungus and everything like that to get onto microbes to shred it, to compost it, than this big ass corn stalk or whatever. It's this big around. Kismel Echo, what about those people in the California internment camps in 1942? Great comment. What are we going to do? Reparations for all the Japanese that we falsely jailed for all intents and purposes. I mean, I don't get, you can look at any group of people in the country and say they were wronged at one point or another. I don't care if you're Hispanic. I don't care if you're Black. I don't care if you're Native American. I don't care if you're a man. I don't care if you're a woman, if you're European, if you're Jewish, if you're Christian, whatever. Every group of people, and most people fall in more than one, okay, have been wronged one way or another. Sorry, that's just what happens, because all this thing will do is lead to precedent. Okay, if let's say, for example, this happens, how long do you think it is going to take the Native American culture in the United States to go, where's ours? You took our land and forced us into reservations. At least they were free. We want twice the money. And then, of course, let's say 20 years from now, then you get all the Hispanics coming up and going, look, for 30 years, my parents couldn't vote, and, we need reparations for everything they went through in the early 2000s, because they were dreamers, but they never fulfilled their dream. It doesn't matter. It'll just go on and on and on. Get over it, okay? Make your own life. You can control what happens tomorrow. Yesterday's gone. We can't do anything about it. Double O, who do I have my concealed carry insurance through? CCW Safe is the company I use. Jill, is silver plated worthless? No, but it's not. I don't want to tell you to melt it down or whatever it would be or anything like that, but the deal is just you're never going to get into a situation where somebody's going to go, oh, you need this sack of flour, that'll cost you 2 spoons and a fork, and nobody's really going to have a way to tell what the silver content is. I mean, at least with silver rounds, or I mean, if you want to buy maple leaves or liberties or something, walking liberties or whatever it is, at least those are common knowledge, and you know that it's, of course there'll be fakes out there, okay, but you know that it's going to be the content of the silver. People are going to know the content of the silver in a dime. People aren't going to know the content or the quality of the silver on your serving fork. I wouldn't say it's worthless, but it's going to be worth a lot less. Dale from Ohio, Donnie Law has very good videos about the history and legends of East Tennessee, Appalachia. Yeah, I watch Donnie all the time. I was watching his video before the live stream today that he did on the granite mines and stuff like that, that are only a couple of miles here away from my house. So yeah, I watch him. I've never met him. I'd love to, but yeah. Gigi's Garden. Is it just me? See SHTF coming faster than ever. Cannot keep pace. World seems craziest ever. Personally, I think whatever happens is going to blindside us. Okay. It's going to be something we didn't expect. Kind of like, oh, I don't know, the Declaration of North America. Sorry, Joe, we have a Declaration of Independence. That means 1. That doesn't mean 3. But we're going to get blindsided by something. Could it be an EMP? Yeah, nobody knows when to expect it. Could it be economic? That one is the most probable, but it's also the most obvious. And I think somebody's going to freak out. I mean, this was crossing my mind today, guys. And just to think about it, we all know Putin ain't in the world's greatest health. There's all the rumors he's got cancer, he's got Parkinson's. There's going to be a day tomorrow, who knows, where the headline's going to come out of breaking news, Putin died. What happens? Think about that for a second. What happened if we woke up in the morning and the headline in the news is Putin dies? Everything's all of a sudden confused. Nobody knows what the hell's going on. Okay. Does Ukraine decide, hey, we're going to go storm Russia now? We've got all these Western tanks and missiles, and we're going to go take over Russia. I mean, what happens? It's things like that. It's going to be something that you don't expect that all of a sudden could be what drives the world nuts. But I agree, something's coming. I mean, it's obviously closer to today than it was yesterday, but I get a feeling it's not going to be long till we're all going to be very thankful we got what we got. Warfox buy fractional silver coins, half ounce, quarter ounce. That I disagree with. The 1 ounce the 1 ounce silver, yes, I agree with. I mean, that's what I own 1 ounce silver ounce. I disagree with buying the half ounce and quarter ounce of silver. Maybe the half ounce and quarter ounce of gold, but I'd rather buy junk silver than half ounce, quarter ounce. Look at the premiums you're paying. You're going to be paying a $6 or $7 premium on a $12 half ounce coin. You need that the value of silver to go up 50% to break even. All right. That's, that means right now you need, for that half ounce coin, for you to buy it and go break even, you need the value of silver to be $36. Just saying. Okay. Buy the junk silver, not the fractional stuff. My opinion. Melody Lucanbill, can you grow peppers from peppers bought at the store? Sure, it's just a pepper. However, what I would do was now here it is in January. If you want to try it, get a pepper, dry out a couple of the seeds, and plant them now and see if they sprout. And save the rest of your seeds. If they do, then you know a month from now or so when you're going to start your peppers, you're fine, because you don't know potentially where that pepper came from. If that pepper came from California, you might be fine. If that pepper came from Mexico, you're screwed because it was irradiated. Okay, so a lot of people say get stuff from organic grocery stores. Okay, maybe, but a lot of times you can regrow the stuff in the groceries. Just try ahead of time and see if they're viable seeds. If you try now, if it sprouts, if you get a little bit of green, they're viable seeds. Good, throw that one out and use the rest of them. Literally, if you have the seeds out of one green pepper, you got tons of seeds, so you're good. But throw one in a even. You don't even need to have the dirt. Put it in a paper towel. Get the paper towel wet. Wrap, fold over the paper towel maybe once or twice. Throw it in a sandwich bag, a little Ziploc bag. Throw it in the fridge for a week. If it sprouts at all, they're viable seeds. Darlene Carter, do you think Potato Head was set up so this crazy giggler could slide into his place? No. Who was going to set him up? Hunter? Okay. Because if you start looking at where this stuff was found, okay, when they found it in the Penn Biden Center, other people had access to it. Who had access to Joe's garage and Joe's Corvette? Okay. This is his house, right? They may use that as an excuse. Hank Johnson tried to pull that one and everybody kind of laughed at him like, you're an idiot. But, he thought Guam would tip over too. So, he's already a verified idiot. But, they'll do whatever they can to sow the seeds of, it could be, because remember, beyond a reasonable doubt. And if they can establish that reasonable doubt, he's got a defense. Angela Donna's store, do I ever can pickled eggs? If so, was the taste good and what was the shelf life? I've never canned pickled eggs. I'm not a real big fan of pickled eggs. I'll eat them, but it's not one of those things where I'm going, oh my God, I need to have that in my preps. I'd rather have the fresh eggs or as close to I can to fresh eggs, frozen eggs or whatever that would be. Pickling eggs, I've never done it, so I can't tell you what they taste like from me doing. I know what they taste like, but not doing it myself. And I could not tell you what the shelf life is. Maybe somebody else in here can. Raccoon Eyes, did they teach body language in interrogation school? Oh yeah. Everything from tone of voice to, certainly questioning techniques and Army protocols and things like that. But yeah, all the other communication skills, yes. Stephanie Joe Roundtree, I brought in a pepper plant that was slow in producing. It's got new peppers on it. Yeah, believe it or not, a lot of people don't know this. Peppers are perennials, okay? They are not annual plants. We all think of them like annual plants because for most everybody, your garden is an annual thing. You plant new tomatoes every year. Whatever. Peppers, you can dig up your pepper plants in the fall, cut them down to a nub, like this big, maybe leave a couple of branches on the bottom, stick them in a pot, put them in the garage or bring them in the house, plant them in the spring, and you don't have to start a new plant. You've already got one with the stalk on it, okay? As long as you can keep it out of the frigid cold in the winter, at least keep it in the 50s or something like that, you're going to be fine. New York Gardener, junk silver getting harder to find. Yeah, I talked about that. Definitely P. What pen do I use to label plants? I don't. When I'm planting something, I plant a flat of this, and I take the bag of seeds and I just put the bag of seeds right there on the end, and that's it. And when I need to plant my plants, I go, there's a flat of cabbage seeds, and I pick out the best ones, and those are the ones that get planted. And I pick out my tomatoes, and pick out the best ones, and those are the ones that get planted. If you know you want to have 6 tomato plants, guys, don't just plant 6 seeds. Simple as that. You're not going to get 100% germination every time. If you've got a few extra, hey, give them to a friend or give them to your neighbor or whatever. If you plant a bunch extra, like I said, put them in solo cups, sit out on the bottom of your driveway on a Saturday and sell tomato plants for $3 a piece as opposed to Walmart selling them for $4 or $5, and you'll make yourself some money. Like-minded, Mr. P, been looking for property in your area. Okay, I'll give you this one. I got an email from one of y'all today who has 2 pieces of property that are about an hour and a half away from me. And she's got let me look at the email here again real quick, just so I can give you the accurate information. Take me a second, bear with me. I'm gonna find where it is in all these emails. There we go. Okay, she has an 8-acre parcel with a 1,700 square foot house built in the 30s, and it was updated in the 70s. And a pole barn and a hole for an in-ground pool, which I think more would be, hey, there's a pond. The house has fuse box electrical system, 5-year-old HVAC, metal roof. Does need some cosmetic work done. There's some fencing in place for livestock. They're asking $270 for it. Then the second one they have is a 21-acre parcel, which is actually right next door to it, except they're on the county line. So the house is in one county and the 21 acres is in the next county, even though they butt up against each other. But 21 acres, no structure. There is some fencing. Electric and water is at the street. Somebody would have to put in a septic. They're asking $175 for that. So at that point, you're looking at what, $4,000 an acre or something like that. No, what am I doing? Yeah, about $4,000 an acre, somewhere thereabouts. So if anybody's interested in that, shoot me an email. But somebody sent me this morning, one of you guys sent me this morning. And if anybody's looking for land in Tennessee, there's a couple that I know that's somebody who's a prepper who I believe she lives right across the street. Gen X prepper question: ever soundproof a generator shed? No, never had a generator shed. So don't need to. I mean, I don't want a generator inside any build anyway, but when it's running. But I guess some people will, as long as it's exhausted correctly and everything. But no, I have not. Angela Land: to move to California, you need a boat and water sports items. Okay, I don't understand the context. Husky Mom: there's a good point. I've made this one before. Elon Musk is African American. Does he qualify? Yeah, I've said him, Charlize Theron, and everything. Yeah, it's like South Africa is part of Africa, guys. It's funny. Every time you say something like that, you're. I mean, they'll just throw this at you. Get people just throwing crap at you all the time. You say Asian American and go, well, if somebody's Iraqi, they're Asian American. Oh, that's not what I meant. Oh, well, then why don't you call them appropriately? Japanese, or Chinese, or Korean, or Filipino, or whatever it would be, as opposed to your politically correct crap. Broken Dolly: got laid off work today. Sorry to hear that. Going to have to dip into my preps. Thank God I prepared, and I want you to know, Pinball, that I learned so much from your channel and this group of awesome people. Well, thank you. I'm glad you do, because that's kind of the whole reason that I do this, is kind of try to help you guys and share and do whatever we can. And, it's all about community. And as long as we can educate each other, we all know more. I mean, each one of us, I look back everything that I knew when I started this channel 2.5 years ago and how much y'all have taught me. It's just phenomenal. So Just Arizona. What part of Arizona would you buy a piece of land? Been looking like in Buckeye. Honestly, if I was looking for land in Arizona, I'd probably look at northern Arizona. I don't know off the top of my head where Buckeye is, but I'd be looking up, along I-40, somewhere up there. Down south is too much desert. Phoenix, Tucson, that's too populated. If I was going anywhere, I'd be going up, say, near the Grand Canyon, in that area. Let's see. There's water up there too. Kind of important. Let's see. RLH, hey Pinball, Dave from Southern Prepper said Southern Prepper 1 said another substation was shut up again. God. I haven't heard that. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm certainly not going to question Dave on something like that. But 00, same question I already answered. CCW safe. I won't say it's recommend. It's the one I have. So, I like it, but I'm not endorsing it or anything one over another. It's just the one I have. Ann Palmer, question, had to change computer. Sorry if double post. For sweet potatoes, can you use hay instead of straw bales, or is there a big difference? Yes, you can, but the problem with hay is you are going to get a bunch of hay seed in there that is going to sprout, that is going to compete for the nutrients in what's eventually going to turn into compost. And so you're going to be fighting all that hay, the grass, in your sweet potatoes. And then for me, after I'm done, if you guys remember last year, I just toss all the spent straw into my garden and let it compost and build my soil up there. I don't want to be introducing all that hay seed. You can do it, okay? It's just the issue you're going to have is just plan on having a lot of grass in it. Smoking swamp outdoors. If you voted for Biden, you owe me gas money. There you go. You owe me tax money. Thirsty. Gotta get something going. Sue, can my live shows be closed captioned for the deaf person here? I think YouTube doesn't have that option. I set everything up for closed caption on YouTube. The issue is it takes YouTube an hour or so after a video is posted or after a live stream is done before they can so they can process the closed captioning. I mean, the computer's got to go through and do the whole thing. It does not close caption live. I'm sorry, that can't that I have no control over. They haven't come up with that technology available to us yet. UNA, just checked my electrical natural gas bill. It's over 3 times the bill from 4 months ago. Welcome to my tomorrow morning video. We're talking quite a bit about power and bills and things like that, the economy, and that's tomorrow morning. Let's see. Janice Kirk, is there anything we can do about this Canada-America-Mexico alliance? Well, as soon as I found out about it yesterday, I called my congressman. I called Marsha Blackburn's office. Bill Haggerty, I can't get a phone number for. I just had to email him. And then I also called I can't remember the name. There's a constitutional law firm that does a lot of work, constitutional law, fighting against the government. There was a UCLJ or something like that. I can't remember who it was, what the acronym was. And I got a hold of them and I was like, what the hell is this? And I mean, the voicemails I left for my congressman and my senator were not exactly, hi, it's me. It was, no, what the hell is this crap? So, get a hold of your representatives, and say, this has got to stop. No. I see, the thing is this, I don't know how much standing it has, because the president does not have the legal authority to enter into a treaty without Congress's approval. And that's technically what that is a treaty. So I don't know if it's more ceremonial, anything like that. But for them to come out and parade that out on the whitehouse.gov website, and the way it was portrayed, it's like, look what we did. Here's the new thing we're going to do. We're going to make the continent all one big country. Fuck, no, you're not. So, the only thing we can do right now is raise hell. All right, back to the bottom, back to the top. How far can we go? All right. Kathleen Maddox, can you use old eggshells for compost? Oh yeah, you can. Just make sure you rinse out the eggshells first. You don't want any of that egg residue in there. But eggshells are just like anything else. You want them the smaller and smaller and smaller you can get. So if you can grind them up, crush them up. If I'm going to throw them in compost, what I've done in the past is just dry them out and then take over with a rolling pin and just go over and powder it. Because you'll find eggshells take a long time to break down. You can see a lot of these videos where people dump food scraps and dig a trench in the garden. And I'm sorry, my nose itches. Dig a trench in the garden, bury food scraps. And there's carrots in there, and fish, and celery, and lettuce, and eggshells. And like Mark from Self-Sufficient Me goes back a year later and digs it up. Everything's gone. Here's a duck egg shell, because it takes a while to decompose. So what you're trying to get out of your eggshells is the calcium. I find it's better just to keep the eggshells in a fertilizer, because really about the only things that are going to need calcium, a boost in calcium, and maybe not, depending on your soil, are going to be like your tomatoes, your peppers, your squash, and your eggplant, things that'll get blossom end rot. Those are, blossom end rot is a calcium deficiency. But yeah, you can throw them in your compost. Holy crap, it's 8:57. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot 420. Hey, Pinball, do you want to know how to launder a ton of money? You crane it. Oh, God. Oh, there's 30 seconds we don't get back. Jay Myers, Angry Prepper at SHOT Show in Vegas, and YouTube took down his video. I watched the second try. I didn't see why he lost the first one, if he was showing too many guns or something like that. So yeah, I saw the second part, him saying he was apologizing for the first one, but that doesn't surprise me. You remember, what was it, about 9 months ago, YouTube went to Magic Prepper and demonetized every one of his videos because they didn't like him talking about guns so often. Lady D. Haney, I have all silver candlesticks. Should I weigh them? Again, same thing before. Good luck in an SHTF situation going up to somebody and go, there's 17 ounces of silver here. They're going to go, how do I know that? It could be silver plated or whatever it would be. Obviously, you want to keep the silver candlesticks. I'm assuming those are probably passed down generation to generation. But as for a currency, probably they're not going to be worth what you think you got there. Again, that's my opinion. I want everybody to understand this. Who knows? You may find a guy that's willing to trade you a bag of beans for a fork. I don't know. But I'm just thinking it's not going to be the preferred item, in my opinion. Husky Mom, we grew irradiated seeds in the elementary school in New York in the 60s. It was the 60s. Yeah. What kind of seeds were you growing? Let's see. Nathan Smith, hey, Pinball, tired of Illinois looking at Tennessee and Missouri. Thoughts on these? Well, I live in Tennessee, so that answers that question on that one. And Missouri, the Ozarks has probably got the largest concentration of preppers, in the world. So I don't think you go wrong with either one of those. Just, again, it's finding what works for you, land-wise, house-wise, location-wise. If you want to ask about Missouri, ask Travis, Prepared Homestead. That's where he lives. So, Trucker Hershey, can you save pickle juice? How long? Probably quite long. It's basically vinegar, so that shouldn't be going bad. I mean, I don't save pickle juice, but I mean, it's not like I'm going through a jar of pickles a week or something like that. I mean, they'll sit in the fridge for a couple of months and they're fine. One more, okay, because it's 9 o'clock and I don't have to worry about Jason because Jason won't be in at 9. Ken Harrison, can you do frozen eggs in a muffin tin? Yes, but make sure you scramble them first. Do not try to crack a whole egg and leave the yolk intact or anything like that. It will not work the same. It won't come out. You'll have a complete different consistency. Scramble the eggs. I mean, okay, fine. You don't get your over easy eggs for breakfast by saving them that way, but 90% of the use for eggs you have is going to be scrambled anyway. You're using them for baking, omelets, scrambled eggs. The only thing you're not going to have is your fried egg sandwich. So, over easy eggs. But yes, put them in a muffin tin, work fine, take them out, pop them out. You have a bunch of little chunks of eggs, throw them in a bag. The only problem, and this is where I'll say the difference is, you freeze them in a muffin tin, then you want to put a container, right? You're going to have the space where, two of them are going to sit like this, against each other. If I crack a couple eggs, put them in the bag, I can lay the bag out completely flat. I have no airspace. It's this thick. And now I can stack them nice and neatly on top of each other. Just saying. You can do it that way. I'm just trying to save you a little space. So, all right, guys, that's a Tuesday night. Have a great evening. We will see you in the morning and try to stay dry out there. Have a good one, y'all. Pinball out.